Hey, what's going on, everybody? Brian with Zengate. We're here on the mainstream. And for those that know the rules, since Dan isn't here, every time I say the mainstream, you have to take a shot. Shout out to Dan. He'll be joining us here hopefully soon. But with us, we got a great guest. We got Rafael from the Cardano Foundation, from the Latin community. We're going to talk all about the Latin community in Cardano and just blockchain adoption in general. Rafael, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Brian. Thank you very much for having me here in the show. Thanks to Dan as well and the whole Zengate project. So very happy to be here. Very happy to also share some inputs, some developments here in Latin America from Cardano Foundation institutional perspective. And also, I would say like a little bit of like my personal overview about like how LATAM is going on and, what we can achieve in the next, I would say, couple of months and years as a Cardano here in Latin America.
Yeah, there's a lot going on down there, so I'm sure we have a lot that we can talk about, right? So, but let's start out for those who maybe don't know you, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with crypto and even Cardano in general before you joined the foundation.
Sure. So I'm originally from Brazil. I'm a Brazilian, proud Brazilian. Since 2017, when I start to not work with crypto but investing and studying crypto, I've been traveling around doing some masters abroad, such as in Ireland when I lived like for 3 years, also Switzerland, Italy. And I was working for Facebook, and I have a master's in privacy and data protection. That is pretty much like I would say funny. I was working for the enemy in the end of the day. And then yeah, I've just like applied to work for the Cardano Foundation. It was like my dream. I was like, okay, I really love blockchain, crypto. I think this technology can really like shape the future. I think this technology can really make the difference, and I want to be part of that. So doing that, I've just started to work at the Cardano Foundation in 2022. So it's almost like 3 years proudly working for the foundation. There is a, for those that doesn't know, is a Swiss nonprofit foundation that oversees the IP and also the blockchain of Cardano. We are not anymore one of the 3 founder entities of the Cardano ecosystem, but right now with Voltaire, we are as many other like entities like independent and supporting the ecosystem and try to leverage the Cardano branding and also the projects through our, I would say, trilema, that is adoption, education, and resilience operation as well. So happy to once again to be joining, happy to share a little bit more, not only about I would say what we are doing here in Latin America, but also worldwide when it comes to the Cardano Foundation.
Yeah, so maybe we can get involved into that a little bit further right away. Like, let's talk about the foundation. Let's talk about what they're up to before we specifically get into the Latin America stuff. So what have they been up to? Like, what's your involvement and what's your role really with the foundation?
Sure. So right now I am the LATAM, so the Latin America development lead. So I oversee the whole Latin America region from a business development perspective. And it's important to emphasize that this role, it's a kind of like, I would say, new role. Was created in the beginning of this year. So I am the first one from an institutional perspective to work here in Latin America. So that represents how Latin America right now, it's, I would say, on the verge, is on the kind of like focus, not only for Cardano, but I would say for like many blockchains. A fun fact that I believe it's worth to share. Last year, we sponsor and we attend the Blockchain Rio event, the largest event in Latin America that is hosted here in Brazil. There is some, I would say like fight between the organization of Blockchain Rio and LABitConf in Argentina. As a good Brazilian, I'm going to say, Blockchain Rio. But of course, LABitConf, it's also massive. I'm going to reach in Argentina very soon. But with that opportunity, we could see that Cardano was the first blockchain to sponsor the event as a public blockchain. And this is interesting because this year, we participate again in the same event here in Rio. And as a surprise, Brian, we could see 10 plus public blockchains attending, sponsoring, and participating of the event. So that's a very clear message that Cardano was the first one to touch these lands here in Latin America. Cardano was the first one to push the agenda here. And right now, we can see that many blockchains are following, trying to catching up or following up our steps here. So I would say that it's a huge, massive shutout, not only for the institutions such as Cardano Foundation, but primarily for the community and also the SPO that has been working so strong and proactively here in the region to make really LATAM a hub, I would say so, for blockchain and new technologies.
Yeah, I mean, that's so exciting to hear that there's so many, even outside of Cardano, that are going down there, because that shows me and tells me, as someone who's not there on the ground, that there's a lot of interest, right? Because if there wasn't interest from the other side, those other blockchains wouldn't be taking that step to go into that region, right? Maybe you could
I would say, sometimes we need to answer some questions with data and facts. So data, it's easy because it's straight into your eyes. It's there. So chart analysis, they publish, it was like last year, but I think they renewed this year as well. Maybe it comes right now in September. But they published like a study, like a paper stating that among the top 15 jurisdictions in the world, LATAM has 5 countries representing the most adoption when it comes to those countries. I think like Dubai is the Emirates, is the first one, and then there is the US, that is Nigeria and India on the top 5, and then there is Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela, Mexico, and I have to check, but there is one more, if I'm not mistaken. It's I have to. It's Chile or some country here for the South Cone, but among 15 we have 5 countries there. That represents, we have Oceania, Asia, we have Africa, Europe, Americas, and 30%. We have 5 countries.
30%,
only
right?
For Latin America representing. So this is impressive, and like I said, the numbers. They answer, the question, I would say the $1 million question. Why LATAM? Why we have to focus or, put some effort here to develop the region?
Yeah. What is kind of the adoption that you've seen and what's pushing you into that top, 5 countries into that, right? What have you seen from people outside, maybe just your personal view more so than like from the foundation, right? What have you seen driving that? And what do you think that we can do to kind of not play on it, but how can we help the situation? How can we help solve the problems that are faced down there with blockchain and Cardano?
I believe as we have here in Latin America, a lot of countries, they are flagged as underdevelopment. There is a legitimate interest for governments, also private and public enterprises, to advance with the modernization of the processes. I've been working a lot with the public sector here. My background before joining Facebook and the foundation was 8 years almost working in the public sector here in Brazil. And meeting the government, we can really see, Brian, this desire that they have right now to implement blockchain, to implement Web3 solutions, and also to not change real process that they already have right now, but try to leverage, try to enhance existing process to use blockchain technology for security, transparency, traceability, any immutability, of course, any kind of pros that the blockchain can provide. Governments and private enterprise right now here in LATAM, they are seeking to use it. And we from Cardano, as we have, a blockchain that is pretty much a tank, it's pretty much indestructible. It's really the UTXO, a massive piece of technology that makes, any kind of competitor really like think twice. Okay, why Cardano is so involved with governments and we are not? It's because of the trust that we always, present to the community and to the market as well. So I believe governments, they just want one thing, Brian, that is stability and trust. And Cardano can provide both of them right now. So
yeah, and stability is a big thing, especially when you're talking like on a government type level, right? The fact that Cardano has been such a tank, as you put it, right? It's had its trying moments, and scalability is still something that's on the roadmap, and things such as Hydra and those types of things, and side chains, all are on their way to even help further improve and future proof Cardano. And I would imagine that, looking at it from their perspective, right, that is highly, highly important. The fact that, the uptime, the fact that they can access the information that they need to access, right? I know one of the things Cardano Foundation has built in the past was an explorer specifically for the government type levels, to be able to access the blockchain and be able to search for that type of information that they may need, whatever that possibly can be. Can you talk about that a little bit on why that is such a high importance to them, like the stability, maybe from your experiences?
yeah, sure. I mean, like when we speak about the governments, once again, it's a very complicated niche to work with, because when you are dealing with governments, right, you are not dealing with one single entity. You are not dealing with customers. You are dealing with citizens. You're dealing with, sometimes like here in Brazil, 220 million. In the whole Latin America is 930 million people that speaks two languages. Let's say so. Of course, there is like some French and English among them, but Portuguese only in Brazil, and the majority in Spanish. So you have to try to, when delivering to governments, when delivering to a new region, I would say you have to understand not only the cultural background, but also the technical capability, also how is the level of adoption. It's interesting, for example, here in Brazil. Here in Brazil, we have an instant method to pay that is called Pix. It was created in Switzerland, by the way, more than 10 years ago, but nobody in Switzerland used it. And I was like, 5 years living abroad. When I came back to Brazil, I was like, stopped like in the traffic lights, and some, homeless guy came to me and asked me like, Rafael, of course, he doesn't know my name. Oh, guy, can you give me like, some money, some spare change? And I was like, sorry, buddy, so I don't have anything here, only like card. No, but I have Pix. So if I send to you my phone number, you can transfer to me right now. And I was like, hands up. Okay, now you got me, yeah? So it's a method of payment that was already adopted by homeless people. Can you imagine what we can do with blockchain as well? Of course, I mean, like for the sake of blockchain adoption, it's always important. It's something that every time I try to stress when I'm dealing with opportunity, to make the technology as seamless as possible. When the people start to use blockchain and don't realize that they are using, I believe that is the cap that we want to achieve when it comes to use a technology that is like seamless right now. So Latin America, Brian, in a nutshell, has a lot of potential because of, first, level of adoption. And I would say it's easy to the people here to understand and to use new technologies. Also, governments are backing up new technologies, such as in Brazil, for example, with the DREX, that is the CBDC here. Blockchain crypto here in Brazil, they are fully regulated by the Central Bank of Brazil and the CVM, that is the SEC, the Exchange Commission's committee here in Brazil. So that is, I would say, a clean path to advance. Way more interesting than a lot of countries, as we can see in Asia, sometimes in the Middle East as well, or even though in the US, that still have like a gray area when it comes to regulation.
Yeah, that's really interesting. The fact that they are so highly involved, right? Me coming from living in the United States, right? I see my government kind of pushing back on cryptos at some point, right? Now that's kind of changed a little bit, but to learn about the how other governments are kind of handling cryptocurrency is very interesting to me, and the way that they want to see the adoption of the technology, right? Because there's cryptocurrency and people are out there, the meme coins want to make money, right? But let's be honest, blockchain as a whole can change lives, right? And it can change the way that we do things. And it's very, very interesting to me to see that your government is taking that stance, right? And we have joining us our friend Dan Raphael. Look who is here.
My name is not Dan Rafael. It's just Dan.
Well, we changed it today.
You
Dan
can
Raphael.
take it. You can take it.
Oh well. Since we've been doing we've been doing all this work in LATAM, it sounds a little more LATAMish, like Daniel Rafael.
Daniello.
Yeah, Daniel Rafaelo. Yeah, that works good. Yeah, it works. It's and I'm here for a party. That's why I got my. It's not just a palm shirt. Well, it is a palm shirt. It's got palm on it. Yeah. So what have you guys been
Wine shirt.
doing?
We were talking about government adoption in Latin America a little bit.
Oh yeah. I was actually just on an AMA, and this is why I'm so late, and I do apologize for that. Rafael, please don't think that you're not special. You have a special place in my heart,
Likewise, my
especially
friend.
especially after that tremendous time we spent in Argentina, especially after we had to suffer through those not Cuban cigars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was. Listen, it's the hard knock life for us, I guess. But it's. I mean, myself, I take a bit of time to warm up to things because I am, in a way, I'm an optimist, but I'm also a skeptic. And when somebody started telling me, LATAM, oh, that's the place to be. That's a place to be. It's like, okay, I thought that Asia is the place to be. And before that, I thought India was the place to be. And then it's like everywhere is the place to be. Like you can never win. As soon as you're in the place to be, there's a new place to be. And then I just kind of got, from one side, from another side of the people that I trust and respect, just kept telling me, look at LATAM, look at Latin America. There's a lot of stuff happening there. And I really started digging into it. And man, it's just popping off. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing the movement that's happening over there, the opportunity, the just the what we call the in Japanese chikara, which is the mojo.
The mojo.
Yeah, the mojo. Yeah, and so I had a tremendous trip to Argentina. It's just I can't even begin to describe to everybody watching how many opportunities there are. Brazil, there's a lot of stuff happening in Brazil, Bolivia as well. Quite a bit happening in Bolivia, Chile, I mean, all over the place. So and Ecuador. It's great to see this kind of stuff, this kind of movement for our industry, and really having governments and having just having countries be ready. It looks like they're ready to really utilize these use cases and to really take advantage of the opportunities that blockchain tech brings. So that's just my observation. And so it's really great to have you here, Rafa, because we had some really great conversations in Argentina. You're very well connected. I mean, amazingly connected in the ecosystem there, and I'm just glad that you're on our side. So yeah, it's great. It's great to have you.
Always in the light side, not in the dark side. No, I appreciate that. It was, like you said, it was a great time together. And here's some whispers that, I think we're going to get together again very soon in Dubai and also in Argentina. there are some whispers. I don't know if it's true, but let's see. Let's see.
Well, is this
So
announcement of an announcement, or what are we doing here?
we can hold. We can hold. We can hold. But yeah, I mean,
Well,
like we have right now, and I was just saying to Brian, to the audience as well, like, you know, we can be proud of ourselves as a Cardano, as an ecosystem, because we start this LATAM operation even before to any kind of like a public blockchain. When I came here to LATAM in November last year, I was saying to Brian, I've attended Blockchain Rio. That was the first event, and only Cardano was sponsoring and participating of the event. This year, we just renewed the event. By the way, Charles came up as well. A lot of staff from the foundation as well. They came to attend the event, and we could see like 10 plus public blockchains sponsoring, participating of the event. So we are pioneers here in LATAM. We have a strong community, strong builders. We have like amazing projects that I can even like mention here, such as like TX5, for example, Ncoins, and so on and so forth. So there is like a lot of potential here, and people are just realizing right now. You know, I've tried to push this agenda within the ecosystem since I joined, and it's not a, I would say, and like you said, Dan, you know, it's not an easy job to someone just, you know, try to present a new region, I would say so far, or a new jurisdiction to someone, because like you said, every day someone say, okay, it's India, okay, it's China, okay, it's the US, it's Europe. And when someone came like, you know, as an outsider and say like, look, have a look in Latin, I think you're gonna get surprised. And, you know, I think right now we are seeing the potential and also this clear answer. LATAM, and it's not my words, not your words, I was saying here is data. LATAM, it's of course topping among of like top 5, you know, with like 4 countries in the top 10 crypto adoption in the index ranking by chain analysis. So it's data that respond the question.
Yeah. Dan, you're muted, sir. Sir, I can't hear you.
no, what I was saying was, okay, fine. I won't use telepathy, lip sync telepathy on you guys. All right, you know, maybe some are just not a bit. Anyway, what I was saying before, and my mindy thing, muted mindy thing, was that what you said, it rings really close to heart, because myself, you know, when I just started, and when I was working at IOG and another well, in other regions, I would see a lot of opportunity in these regions, and it would really take a while to develop it and to create an atmosphere that would be viable for you know, the big boys to come over there, you know. And I had to do the same thing with Georgia. We did the same thing in Japan, and it takes a while, you know, when you're there and you see this opportunity, right? And like you did, and you still do, obviously, you see this opportunity, but it takes a while to actually develop it, to actually get people to really understand it. But once they do, it's great, because once they do, it's just all this work just starts really paying off, because there's all this movement. There are all these different things from, you know, that are happening, and that you were thinking about this whole time. So yeah, I know exactly how you feel about being here, finally being here right now after working on this for over a year, or even longer than that.
Well, yeah, absolutely, Dan. And I believe, like, you know, this is not as easy as people just, you know, like think about it. Okay, why just right now, Cardano Foundation, I would say other entities, they are like focused, you know, on LATAM, because it demands a lot of work to change the mindset. It demands a lot of work to show them the potential. We from the Cardano Foundation, we have, like, I would say, great partnerships here in Latin America. One is with Petrobras, that many knows, but for those that doesn't know, it's the largest oil and gas company in in Latin America. Also, not only the oil and gas company, the largest company in Latin America, top 3 oil producer in the world, 40,000 employees that right now are using the Cardano Academy as a standard blockchain course. So this is the real adoption that we want. We have a Forbes 500 company, the only one right now in the ecosystem. It's a Brazilian state-owned company, so it's a public company. So in the end of the day, we have a collaboration with the Brazilian government, and they are using Cardano. They're not using Cardano to study and to understand and to get onboarded, but they are also using in a project that will come up right now. It should be an alpha, but I can, in first hand to give to you then in your podcast. We will be launching with Petrobras by the next 2 weeks, in the 10th of October, a project that is a proof of attendance. Registering on chain, data, attendance, and also mitigating any kind of risks for the general public entering in non-permitted areas within the company. This is, I would say, like a prototype, experiment, but we are very, very looking forward for this experiment. So with your phone, you will tap a 3D printed, totem that will have like NFC card. Doing that, you're going to register only your email, so your corporate email for some private access areas, or for event, let's say, so your corporate or your guest email, and we will receive an on-chain hash recording your stamp, which time, hour, date, you tap your phone, you register your entry in some place, and you receive also certification. So for this event with Petrobras, that is the Expand Labs, the second year in a row that Cardano and Cardano Foundation will be participating with executives of the company. We will be launching this experiment. So we are very looking forward for this idea. And we maybe in the future can expand, not only for Petrobras, but for other public companies here in Brazil or private ones as well. Or why not? Let's say for the summit, you are in the summit, you tap your phone, you register your attendance there, you get like a nice NFT, or you get like a nice certification of attendance, and then you can prove that you are indeed, in a XYZ, like an event or a meeting or room.
Well, it's some really exciting stuff. And thanks for, dropping the alpha on the mainstream.
Don't forget to do your shot.
Yeah. What? Well, who got shot? What?
I said, don't forget to do your shot. You said the mainstream.
Oh, no. Okay, fine. Here's my shot. There we go. It's a small one.
I'm gonna shot the juice here as well.
Oh yeah.
And I got coffee.
That's going straight to the hip.
I know that probably Dan is like, shotting a Japanese single malt cheer one that I pretty much love it.
Well, yeah, that's nice. Actually, I was privy to the drinking of one of the last bottles of this select hibiki that doesn't exist anymore. I didn't even know, it was available, but then we drank it and it was not available anymore. So I think we must have drank the last of it in Japan or in the world, perhaps. So I am for that. We should definitely try and see what kind of what you got available in Latin America that is good next time I'm there, and actually that is going to be next month. So I am looking forward to that. It's got a lot of stuff happening over there, but so what I wanted to actually talk about now, so we know that there's a lot of opportunity there, right? It's very, a lot of things are moving, and you see all these news about what's happening over there. You got these great partnerships happening. But what I want to talk about is, what are some of the challenges you're facing right now? I mean, yeah, you have movement, but what are the challenges? Where do you feel that you need to have a breakthrough? Basically, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to challenge, then I think just the region itself is a really huge challenge. It's under, like development region. We are still in development. We have like countries, like I said, really seeking to modernize. So, and there is education. I think, and I really like to speak about education. I think education, it's really a core that we from the Cardano Foundation, we take very seriously. And I believe like the whole Cardano ecosystem as well, in any kind of blockchain, because we're facing right now the verge of the mass adoption of blockchain. We are on the verge of a lot of countries start to use blockchain in their main services, and a lot of private companies also to provide services or change processes using this technology. However, I really like to show how is the difference between like decision makers that are like governors, presidents, people that do not sometimes understand the technology, and technicians, how education plays a key role on that. So we need right now to educate those, like two levels, I would say two layers of decisions in a government or like a company, to make them communicate. Right now, this is for me the massive challenge that we are facing, not here in LATAM, but in the world. We from the Cardano Foundation, we have the Cardano Academy. That is a free, completely interactive course. Anyone can take it right now and get certified. Also, with our collaboration with Personsview, the same certifier of Oracle, Microsoft, Apple, I would say like almost like top tier companies in the world. And we have this vision that through education, and only with true education, we can reach the real institutional adoption. So any kind of project that we are running today, there is some level of education being involved as well. Because imagine, and I really love to make this example, imagine if I give to you like a glass with like unknown liquid, and I said, Dan, sip, go for a shot, man. I know that you are kind of crazy, then you can go for the shot. But, if someone that is not, me, like, I don't know, someone just crossing to the street, give you like, this glass with like unknown liquid, you're not gonna have it. However, if they explain to you that is a mixed, juice with like orange and a strawberry, no sugar added, it was prepared today, fresh and cold, you know what it is. And then the fear of the unknown will mitigate the risk to you to drink this glass. This is how education applies to blockchain. And this is how we are trying to push this institutional and governmental adoption, start to educate them. Because after they get educated, after they know what blockchain it is, it's simple, it's practical. They are not under the fear of the unknown.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is needed. It would streamline adoption, I would say. So yeah, I do agree that you do need some education. But what do you really think would be ways to adopt the technology without really having to spend time explaining to them what's under the hood? What are some technologies that are needed right now in LATAM that are available that we can just kind of roll out and say, well, this solves this problem that you have right now, specific to that region, and basically, how you're doing this thing right now this way, and it's a pain in the ass. Well, now you can actually do it this way, and it's way easier. So, what is that thing? Is there something like this that you can think of? Just I want to hear your thoughts and what what that looks like.
Yeah, I have to give like a disclaimer right now. So it's a personal opinion, just does not reflect the Cardano Foundation opinion right now. But I believe that real world assets, of course, RealFi. I think RealFi can play a key role here in the region. We have loads of opportunity to roll out RealFi projects here. I believe like traceability as well. Good examples from my last trips to Ecuador, when we have like a tuna industry that really demands this traceability. For example, to get a green certification to export tuna, it's a problem right now in Ecuador that they lose this green certification with illegal fishing. And only blockchain can sort this problem, because the real core problem of the situation is because they cannot prove that all the fish that are coming up into the port, they are legal, they are coming from Equatorian boats, and they are not suppressing the national quota. So using traceability plus IoT device, and this is the beautiful of new technology, how you can synchronize IoT, blockchain, and AI to gathering this data, compile, and input on chain what really matters. So this is, I believe, like the most magical thing for the industry that we work with them. I would say also proof of attendance. Why not? And when we speak about proof of attendance, this is not only about events, like I mentioned with the Petrobras case. It can show a lot, for any kind of reasons when we are starting to try to use, for example, like prohibited areas, when we need to really demand people to log in or log out, or like entering in a public, I would say, like space with a controlled access. So this could be like massive. I would say also, why not digital identities? I think digital identities has in the near future is like around the corner, a key role for governments. Here in Brazil, this year, unfortunately, sad situation happened. That was the floodings in the Rio Grande do Sul state. A state that has more than 10 million people there, was completely flooded due to the heavy rains in January and February of this year. A lot of people, or most of people that were living there, they lost everything when it comes to personal documents, certificates, everything that was in paper, national IDs, driving license. Using digital identity could mitigate this issue in a way that they could easily recover everything in their phones, and do not need to overload the government that was already like full of, I would say, like problems, trying to save people and try to really reconstruct the region, issuing like more paper. So there's like simple actions that we already see right now happening in a governmental and also in a private, I would say, like level, that could be mitigated using blockchain. And I like to say that blockchain then is not a technology that came to change an existing technology, but sometimes, and most of the times, we came to leverage, to enhance, to make it better, a process that already exists. We are not claiming that we're going to issue new identities or new formats of it, no, but we're going to use a technology that will make it better how identities are nowadays.
I find that really interesting, right? As somebody who, the town that I grew up in is in a flood zone. There's been major floods where I live all the time, and digital identities. I've actually had my identity, my social security card ruined in a flood. It was in my basement. The basement flooded. I had to go through a bunch of stuff to get a new one. So that's something that has always really interested me, in the fact that seeing, hearing that it's something that people could take advantage of, and kind of, it was a process, right, for me to go and get this social security card, and it took time. If I needed to travel or something, or needed it for anything, where with a digital identity, it's something that it's there, right? It's on the blockchain, it's immutable. It's there for me to grab whenever I need. So that would be something that I would love to see in the future grow, specifically for a lot of those reasons, right?
Yeah, this is this actually hits really close to home for myself. Just a personal story. When I was leaving to move to Japan 12 years ago, I actually didn't have a passport. I couldn't find my old passport. And so I needed, I forgot why I needed to have the social security card, but I needed to have it because it was a form of ID. And so I didn't have one for quite a while. I just, I know my social security number, but I haven't had the real card. I don't know where it is. And so I go to the Social Security office to get the new card, and I just say, "Well, how hard can it be to issue the new card?" Oh, yeah, sir. That's going to take a while. It's going to take 2 to 4 weeks. Oh, and you have to give us your current visa status. Like, visa status? What are you talking about? Yeah, your green card, your current visa status. We have to see. We have to see what it is. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen of the U.S. I've been a citizen since I was 18. I was naturalized. We didn't get that information. Like, what do you mean you didn't get? You're the government. Like, it's your information. How do you not know that I'm a citizen yet? Oh, you're supposed to tell us. I'm like, so wait a second. So I have to tell you that you gave me citizenship? How the hell does that work? Like, they literally in 2012, after I've been a citizen of the U.S. for like 20 years, they still thought that I was a resident alien. I was not I did not have I didn't have citizenship, and and it wasn't even just they didn't feel stupid about telling me that, oh, you have to show us that you have citizenship. Yeah, it's like, no, you have to prove that you have citizenship. Like, okay,
Did you ask them for
sure.
proof?
Yeah, I mean, I got the passport in a different way. I forgot how, but anyway, that was just really shocking to me. I'm thinking, what the hell are you talking about? How do you not know that I'm a citizen? You're the Social Security office. I mean, like, come on. But if you have digital identities, a lot of this is mended, because I don't need to go back and forth and go get proof that I'm a citizen of the U.S., even though I've been a citizen for 20 freaking years, and then bring it back to the government because the one part of the one leg of the government is doesn't know what the other one is doing. It's ridiculous. So yeah. I mean, and I'm sure that anytime you have a bureaucracy, anytime you have a government bureaucracy, you have these things happen. And I'm sure that in Latin America, you also have quite a bit of this, and I really think that that's definitely something. Digital credentials, digital identities is definitely something that could be a pretty low barrier of entry for the tech. Because really, I mean, all you really have to do is for the government to issue it, or for the government to honor it. And then, I mean, just don't change the UX of the current ID system. Maybe even have a government ID, and add that, add a digital identity to that. So yeah, I definitely think that's a big one, and that can cause quite a bit of change. So I'm a big proponent of digital identity and using sovereign identity in that particular
That's
context.
it. As long as the government is issuing like the document and you have yourself a custodian of your identity, you're fine, because you have like the government being like I would say the official issuer of your document, and you have yourself kind of like declare document that you can just present to the authorities in order to validate. And you don't need to check if it's like up to date or not, because the government can do that. Everything recording on chain, not only the data, because of course the data is not recorded on chain, it's just like the ID. But it's interesting to see then how this can make easy the life of the citizen, And as you said, sometimes we have just a fun fact. I was in Argentina in a meeting with the chancellor there, and one of the issues that Argentina as a government presented to me was like, yeah, Rafa, but we have the immigration status. And among the immigration status, we have also a declaration of religion status that is provided to all people that will enter in Argentina, for long stays. It's mandatory, it's obliged there. And I was like, okay, cool. Can you show me like how is the process right now? And yeah, sure. So we type like the information here. Sometimes the citizen or the immigrant, they fill a paper form, and then we give them like a paper receipt showing that he's registered. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's try to make this like a modern process. Let's try to use blockchain. Let's try to use some kind of electronic system for this approach, because to be honest, in 2024 2025, it's, at least for me, and apologies to anyone here, but it's understandable. You use, paper for like few things, but it's not understandable a government using paper. Sorry, US with the ballots and the election, but using paper, to record data of the citizens. This is for me, it's a completely no-brainer. This kind of like a modernization for these kind of processes.
Listen, I live in Japan, and the amount of paper and plastic, and I'm not like a bleeding heart environmentalist or anything. Of course, I care, but I'm not one of these guys who will, guilt trip you for using one extra plastic bag. But I mean, the amount of paper that the Japanese bureaucracy uses is, I mean, like, the Amazon would not be enough. I mean, it's ridiculous. Everything is on paper. Everything. I mean, just now there are a few things that are becoming digital, but until really, really recently, many documents, including really, really important ones, were on paper. In fact, there is actually okay. So I'll give you a good example. Car registration, right? Car registration. If a car is a certain age, it's gone, right? If you don't keep the registration, if you don't keep the paperwork, it's gone. It's done. The car is just a giant paperweight, and there's actually cars out here that don't have that are good cars, classic cars. In fact, some cars that are actually worth quite a bit of money that don't have this paperwork with them, and there's no way. There is a way, but it's so tedious that nobody ever does it to get them re-registered because it is a paper bureaucracy. Another one is actually, for quite a bit of stuff, what you need to do is you need to get what's called a juminhyo from the city hall or from your ward office, and it's essentially a document that shows your address, shows your marital status, all these different things. It's a piece of paper. And they take this piece of paper and you can get a lot of different stuff with this stuff. And I mean, it's a piece of paper. There is almost no, anti-counterfeiting stuff on there. Identities can be stolen like that. And this is the 2024, we're at the third quarter of 2024, and we're still carrying around pieces of paper that can basically be used to steal our identity. And I just don't get it. I just don't get how we're still here.
In a past life, I used to run a trucking company, right? I was in the trucking industry, in the supply chain, right? And one of the things that was my responsibility is when we were shipping produce, the temperature of that trailer had to be recorded, right? So you have a device on the truck, but that information is sent to me. I put it in a spreadsheet, send it over to the customer. Every time he wants to know, hey, what's the temperature of he has to reach out to me, where blockchain solves that issue, right? With the IoT devices, where they would just be able to go. And I mean, I literally put hundreds of hours into documenting and tracing the temperatures on trailers for deliveries. I mean, let's talk about efficiency, zero efficiency, where blockchain could step in and totally change the whole entire game.
Not only the efficiency, Brian, I would say also, just to add some points in your comment, like in your example here, it should be very important to really leverage the immutability of the data, because it's one of, I would say, the reasons that I believe Latin America has a lot of potential. We have this counterfeit problem here as well. We have, I would say, malicious actors in the governments, that sometimes they change data in order to get some benefits of. So if you bring the blockchain technology, let's say like transparency, I'm just like, kind of like wondering here right now, guys. If we bring blockchain technology for a governmental, I would say like process, let's say payment of public servants, right now we have like a huge problem in a lot of countries here in Latin America that they cannot provide fully transparent report of what get like paid for, which companies are participating for like public RFI processes, who wants, how much they get for the government, in this process. So imagine using blockchain to oversee this whole process and bringing this immutability, transparency, like of data, and also the security. All of this data, regardless, a new government can map and burn all this, like this information. to try to hidden some, I would say, like, bad stuff can be avoided. So blockchain, I believe in the end of the day, doesn't have only the reason to be like a tier one technology, but also to change lives, to change process for good. And that's why Cardano and Cardano Foundation, we embrace this, I would say, ethos of blockchain for good. We really embrace that we need to make a blockchain that is Cardano to make the difference not only for retail, but also for corporates, also for governments, citizens, projects, products, and any kind of sector that blockchain can touch, that we can make it better. I think this is a very interesting mindset that everybody here has in Cardano. And I'm a proud part of this mindset.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've always been a huge fan of the Cardano attitude. The liveliness, the amount of people that are really in it for the good parts, the interesting parts. The parts that make a difference. And actually, there is quite and it's growing, and there's quite a strong Cardano presence in Latin America right now. It is growing. And actually, one of the the main kind of factors that showed it to me was the ADN conference in Buenos Aires that I was able to attend. And of course, the conference that you were at before in Brazil, the blockchain Rio conference. Yeah, I wasn't in Brazil, unfortunately, but I was at the ADN conference, and it was fantastic. It was a packed house, fantastic speakers, great panels. I was
there, of course.
Yeah, I know, and you were huge. Like literally, there was a huge image of you on stage behind you. I don't know, in case you didn't know that. What I wanted to kind of get from you as we as we wind things down for this episode of the mainstream is your takeaways from the conference, because as you said, you have been there on the ground building for a while. I'm sure that this wasn't, this wasn't always a packed house type of thing. So, like, what did you take away from these conferences? Attending them, being a part of them, organizing them, having huge images of you projected on the screens on the conference floor. I mean, what do you think? What do you think?
Sure, and thanks for the accomplishment. It wasn't so nice. My picture. I've tried to do my best. Ugly face here never shows well. So
it was beautiful. It's like an adorable ugly.
Hey, I got a face for radio, Raf, so I understand.
You do. I'm not disagreeing.
All right. So yeah, I think we, as you said, we could see this year 2024 being a magical year. I would say these words, then a magical year for Cardano here in Latin America. We have a lot of events that already happened, such as ADN, that was really interesting. We could have like senators, congressmen, politicians. We could have like entrepreneurs, deans for 3 or 4 different universities. So it was a really interesting event, as well as Blockchain Rio, with the presence of, I would say, most of the government officials for tier 1 levels here in Brazil. We have the presence of the president of the Central Bank of Brazil discussing about drugs, the CBDC here. So it was, I would say, a validation of how blockchain is really impacting the government and the population of Brazil in Blockchain Rio. And we also have like the community events. We keep having, for example, workshops for Intersect, going on. A huge shout out to everybody hosting workshops here in Brazil and also in Latin America. We could see in Paraguay, that is a jurisdiction that I love to work. I'm very close to the president of Paraguay, by the way, Santiago Peña. The Paraguay, and this is Alpha as well. I think there is a lot of good stuff to do in 2025 in Paraguay. So community It's amazing there. They're really pushing. A huge shout out to Caleb from the Paraguayan community, Thiago as well here, SPO from Brazil and ambassador that has been like, building, grinding in Paraguay very, very well. Huge shout out. In Argentina right now, I think I want to talk a little bit more about Argentina because, I'm Brazilian and people think, oh, Rafa, okay, you don't like Argentina, man. It's like British, UK and Ireland. So it's kind of like, nah. But no, I love Argentina. And I have to say, Argentina is in the verge right now of blockchain adoption. We have great partnerships and collaboration running up in Argentina. We have Cardano Foundation have a collaboration with UTN, providing education and also some onboarding for developers with the Federal Technology University of Argentina, one of the largest ones when it comes to technology in Latin America. We also closed a partnership with Entre Rios as the third largest province/state in Argentina to help the government to modernize and be onboarded in blockchain. We are really advancing Argentina. Why? Many people ask, like, why? Because of everything that we discuss here in the podcast. It's everything that we are like working. It's really interesting to see the level of adoption that come not only for the community that is massive there, but for the government and for private enterprises. You were there, then you could see with your bare eyes. Sometimes people say, "Oh, Rafa, you're shilling a lot." LATAM, and I really enjoy to see you guys come down here and see the potential, and after that send me like a WhatsApp message. Hey Rafa, yeah man, things are really like heating up in Argentina, in Brazil, in Ecuador, in Paraguay, in LATAM, and so on and so forth. And indeed it is. And from my side, from an institutional perspective and a personal perspective as well, I'm here to help. I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to really try to support projects from the ecosystem, try to support not only the community, but also, the full ecosystem of Cardano. If you have any kind of question, any kind of doubt, how to start to invest, how to start to work, how to start to collaborate with LATAM projects, or even though with some partners that we already have here in LATAM, give me a heads up, and we can have a call, we can have a discussion, and as long as I can support you, I will do that, because I'm happy to see the progress of Cardano here in the region and around the world. So I think this is a very straight message, to those that maybe don't know me. I'm a very open, person, and I'm here to help. I'm here to support the growth of Cardano in LATAM.
And it is felt, when I came down there, you were fantastic right away. You started to kind of give me, all the DL on or the LD, or whatever the cool kids say today, on what's going on in the region, who to talk to, what to watch out for, and I really appreciate that. And I am really looking forward to going back, because now I was able to, and we were able to kind of develop so much business out there, and it's so exciting that it is just, I just can't wait. I'm going to be there in a few weeks. I can't wait. And I could do without the 36-hour plane ride, but it's worth it.
You're gonna be there twice, correct?
When you get there, you eat like a asado and drink like a Malbec wine. Everything's paid off. The whole trip.
And I was pleasantly surprised and almost blown away by the Italian food in Argentina. It was fantastic. And it's got it's like its own twist, right? So it's not straight up Italian. It's like Argentinian Italian food. Yeah, it was fantastic. We went to this Italian restaurant. I was like, wow, this is great. So yeah, really excited about the region, really excited about the opportunities. The community is excited. Listen, Rafa, it was great to have you on. You're doing a hell of a job over there, and I am really really happy that it's finally starting to pay off. People are starting to finally to notice. Moves are being made, and I am, I am also, as the founder of Zengate, and as the Zengate dude. I'm very, I'm very happy that we are the first, I mean, non-regional Cardano centric company that are on the ground in Argentina and on the ground in LATAM. So very happy about that, and we will continue, moving forward. We'll continue, continue taking the opportunities, and really kind of expanding the use cases over there. So listen, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great to have you. Brian, it's always great to have you, even though I get to have
I'm always around, brother. For
yeah,
you.
even though you're always around, I mostly hear you in my mind by reading your messages. But it's nice to see you,
Yeah.
even though you're a little blurry today. But maybe it's just that kind of day for you.
I think it's the new. I got that new chair, Dan, and it's black, so I think it's kind of been messing up my thing a little bit, because I had to get rid of the Stiller chair because I fell on the ground.
Yeah,
He needs to buy a green screen. That's why.
I do. I need a green screen.
Yeah. Put the green screen in front, though. And then you can project. You can project anybody you want on it. Nobody actually does that.
Invisible Man.
I'm gonna get a big picture of Raph and put in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. You can just have a green screen of Raph, and it's on funny. Yeah.
You're gonna push away all your audience, man. Don't do that.
Anyway, guys, thanks for being on the show, Rafa. Looking forward to seeing you, and I'm very, very excited. I know I said that a few times, but I'll say it once again. I am very excited about LATAM, and I'm very excited about you and people like you working in LATAM for our ecosystem.
I really appreciate that, and thank you very much for having me here, Brian. Dan. It's a really, really a pleasure to be here to share a little bit. But if you guys really want to know what's happening in LATAM, you guys can give me like a follow. You can follow also Cardano Foundation, and we are I would say, like in a crypto world right now. We are grinding here, and I'm very proud to be here and very happy to have the support of you, Zengate, and many, many other projects that are coming to LATAM or are already based here. Thank you very much, and then see you very soon, my friend. See you very soon.
Thank you so much, and everybody, thanks for tuning in this week. And so next week, same time, same place, same channel. Well, not same time. Original time. This time we had to change the time because it was that time. But next week is going to be the usual time, but this channel. So be there on time.
Yeah, and we have the Hydra team joining us, so it's going to be an exciting show.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of a lot of talking heads.
But have a great day, everybody. We'll leave on that note. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot, everybody.